is our final segment with Mr. Fred Smith, QC, today as we talk about certain controversial issues in our country in which he is involved in as an attorney and as a director of Save the Base. And the Deputy Prime Minister, Mr. Davis, in the House of Assembly, talked about the Subdivision Act and that certain things are in train and that Save the Base, people like yourself, ought to allow certain processes to continue and to be allowed to continue. How do you respond to that?
The Planning and Subdivision Act
Yes.
was passed, I think, in 2010, and it provided quite a blueprint for organized, planned development in the Bahamas, in the Family Islands, and in New Providence. It would have, if it was properly initiated and put into effect, it would have created hundreds of jobs for Bahamians in the regulatory agencies, in the environmental monitoring field, in helping to ensure that developments occur properly, in having a national development plan for different parts of the Bahamas, etc. Very little of that was initiated or undertaken, which has resulted in these heads of agreements and these anchor projects, which we call unregulated development. A secret agreement is entered into with the National Economic Council. The next thing you hear is the Prime Minister declaring some big anchor project, and you see some development company breaking ground. There's no freedom of information. Nobody knows what's going on. All of a sudden, there's a $500 million development, and everybody's supposed to be grateful.
Yeah, but
So the Planning and Subdivision Act, Mr. Jones, is designed to provide for consultation for the public. It's designed to allow people who are affected to have a say. It's designed to protect environmental, cultural, social rights,
Yeah.
particularly in the Family Islands,
Yeah.
so that communities can envision and vision their own future.
yeah, so they allow you to have a say.
No, it's not just that. It's not
They
just
allow you to
allowing-
have a say.
No,
But
no,
in your
it's
case,
not.
when they allow you to have a say, you take them to court. You
Let me
want judicial reviews on just about everything. The point that is being built on Bay Street by the Chinese.
Yes.
You complained, or others complained, that they didn't have proper proper permits. The government stopped the job.
They shouldn't have started it.
Well, fine. They stopped the job. They stopped the job. They then went through the process.
Did they really?
And then
they
after
really?
permits were issued, you still complained.
No, I haven't. We've never complained about the point. We have put out ads which have highlighted the fact that these anchor projects are started without permits, like Blackbeard's Key, the dolphin experience out there, like Iguana Key, like the I Group in My Iguana, like many of these different places, like Nygaard Key. You see, the repeal of the Planning and Subdivision Act is just another payback to Nygaard. Because let me explain. The repeal of the Planning and Subdivision Act says that every development that occurred illegally before this date that didn't have permits under the Planning and Subdivision Act are suddenly legal. And so what we're very much concerned with is the judicial reviews that we have in the Supreme Court being completely undermined by a Planning and Subdivision Repeal Act, which grandfathers in and protects everybody who has built illegally for the last 10 years.
Fred Smith, you are said to be, and I said this on a radio show with you, a contrarian.
You like that word.
Somebody who is just contrary to just about everything that the government does.
Isn't the Bahamas lucky to have me?
A contrarian.
Isn't the
and
Bahamas-
you see yourself as a frustrated politician. Who just, once Fred doesn't get his way, he will take the government to court. Because you have a contrary position on just about every major development in the country.
Isn't the Bahamas lucky to have me? A born and bred Bahamian, not some paper Bahamian like Fred Mitchell talks about. We can talk about the Cubans in a minute.
Yes.
Yeah, you see, I was born a Bahamian, just like Fred Mitchell. just like Jerome Fitzgerald, just like you.
Even though you were born in Haiti.
Even though I was born in Haiti. When the Constitution came into effect,
Yes.
I became Bahamian like every other Bahamian.
But I wasn't born in Haiti.
That doesn't matter. People were born all over the world, but they still became Bahamian. So I have no other citizenship. I never had any other citizenship. I don't have the right to Haitian citizenship. I can't give up my Bahamian citizenship and go anywhere else. So Fred Mitchell should stop his nonsense in Parliament telling people I should go back to wherever I came from. Because I ain't come from nowhere except the Bahamas. Always a Bahamian.
Okay.
So let's deal with the Cubans.
Yeah, let's deal with the Cubans. All right, you led me there, right?
Yeah.
The government said that these two Cubans who were imprisoned at Fox Hill.
Illegally.
No, they didn't say illegally.
The government, the court said they were illegal.
No. We'll get there.
Yeah.
They were in the detention center.
An illegal facility.
You say it's an illegal facility. Most Bahamians believe that it's a very good facility
Mitchell.
for those who come to the Bahamas illegally. Listen,
Fred Mitchell
they
says
came
it's illegal.
here illegally.
No, but one second.
No, did the Cubans come here legally?
No, 1 second. Fred Mitchell says it's illegal as well.
Listen,
You hear me?
they were at the detention center.
An illegal facility.
It is alleged by the government that they caused some consternation
And
at the detention center, and they incited something of a riot and the burning down of, it wasn't burned down completely, of the detention center. Because they were considered a national security risk, they were taken to Her Majesty's Prison, or the new name is the Bahamas Correctional Center. You sought to free them. You applied to the Supreme Court. It is alleged that the government's attorney did not present the government side properly. As a result, a Supreme Court justice released them. Yes?
Go on.
The Prime Minister said that they were a national security risk. He tried to get Cuba to take them. Cuba would not take its own citizens. Panama would not take them. All right? But you were able to have them released. That is a problem for the government and some Bahamians. How do you respond?
Everybody is presumed innocent until proven guilty in the Bahamas. The first point that you made was that they landed here illegally. That's not correct. One only was charged with having landed illegally. That person appeared before the magistrate's court, pleaded guilty, and was fined $300 and ought to have been released. Or deported. At that time, there was a discretion.
Deported where?
But you're going to let me...
Deported where?
Oh, my goodness.
The United States government did not want them.
I allowed you...
The U.S. government didn't want them. The Cubans didn't want them.
This is very difficult.
Anyway, go ahead.
You spent the last...
Go
you
ahead,
spent
go
a
ahead.
huge introduction,
Yeah,
and
go
I'm
ahead.
responding.
Go ahead.
So only one was charged with having landed illegally.
Yeah.
The other one was never charged with committing an offense. Secondly, you mentioned a whole raft of the alleged burning down of the a part of the detention facility, inciting riot, being a national security risk, and because of the danger that they posed, that they were sent to Fox Hill. Well, we all know that if somebody incites riot, if somebody attacks other people, if someone tries to escape, if someone is a danger to society, the police charge them with criminal offenses. Carlos and Pupa they were never charged with any criminal offense. All right? They were held illegally. Why? We still don't know. For over 3 years, or nearly 3 years in one case, at the detention center and at Fox Hill. When they came to me, I didn't go hunt these people down to take them out of Fox Hill. When they instructed me to act for them, through another person I was representing in the Court of Appeal, a pro bono case, I'll have you know. I was asked by the Court of Appeal to do a pro bono, which is to do a legal aid case.
Yeah.
I was provided with a note by my Bahamian client, because everybody says I never represent Bahamians, by my Bahamian client, who said that these people wanted to see me. I didn't even go to Fox Hill. This wasn't something that I had a great interest in. I'm not a contrarian just for the sake of being contrary. One of my associates went to Fox Hill, had an interview with them, like we have interviews with many other people, and prepared the papers. I never met these two gentlemen until the day I walked into court and pleaded their case. My associates prepared the case. I didn't manufacture a case against the Bahamas government. And so on the day of the court hearing, the government asked for an adjournment to be able to present their case. I was told that there were things that were going to be put on record. They didn't put anything on record. The next time we came, we had the trial, and the judge ordered them to be released.
That was negligence on the part of the government.
No, that's not appropriate for you to say
yes,
that.
It's appropriate for me to say because
Mr. Jones, if the government
the government thought that they were a national security risk.
Even if
and so the government did not present the case properly.
But Mr. Jones, there is no offense known to the law of the Bahamas as being a national security risk. So there isn't. So just because Mr. Mitchell throws these words out doesn't mean that these people have committed any offense.
Why?
And this is the point that I'm making.
Why were they not welcomed in the United States?
I don't know that.
Why were they not?
Has the United States said that?
The Prime Minister said that the Prime Minister met with the Secretary of State, he said, in the House of Assembly. And he said that he met with the officials at the U.S. Embassy.
So the Prime Minister speaks for the United States now.
No, the Prime Minister
Does the Prime Minister speak
for the
Bahamian
people.
States?
He speaks to the Bahamian people.
That's right.
And he said that he had a discussion with them and they were not welcomed in the United States.
I challenge...
They were not welcomed in Cuba. They were not welcomed in Panama.
I challenge the Prime Minister and Fred Mitchell to put before the Bahamian people the documents that they ought to have tabled in Parliament to substantiate everything that they have said.
Where are these young men now?
I believe they're in Miami.
You believe?
I believe they're...
You
I
were their
haven't physically
attorney.
seen them. Yes.
Yes.
When I speak to them, they tell me they're in Florida. So I say, I believe they're in Miami. Okay?
Did you facilitate that?
Of course not. Facilitate what? I hear Fred Mitchell going to make some complaint to the Bar Association about me. I don't go around getting involved in people's private affairs or how they move around. That is no concern of mine.
You were happy that you were able to get them released?
I didn't. No. I was pleased that I was able to uphold the rule of law in the Bahamas, which says that you cannot be detained arbitrarily and without conviction of the Supreme Court forever. If we had not applied for habeas corpus to get these people out, they'd still be rotting in Fox Hill, just like hundreds of Bahamians are rotting illegally in Fox Hill. I have many cases which we are doing. I have other actions going on for people who have been abused. So I don't understand how, by painting them with this brush of being a national security risk, by making these fantastic allegations about their criminal conduct, none of which has been charged or proven.
Smith, the government sought to have them out of the prison, you know.
This is
the government didn't want them to stay in the prison.
So why is the government
sought to get them out of prison?
So why is the
but
government
not to be in the Bahamian community as national security risks.
Why is the government so upset that they're in Florida? If the government wanted them out of the Bahamas, why is the government all up in arms about them being in Florida? Why should the government care where they are?
That's the last word. That's the last word. That's the last word. We ended with a question. Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much for being here today. We always have fun. And I believe that you are better on radio than you are on television. You're trying to be polite on TV. All right? But thank you so very much.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate you being here. Thank you for watching and listening to our program. Good evening, everyone.